Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Solo Wargaming Show. So we're going to start right out with miniatures. Didn't really see that much going on today in the hobby world, or at least this week. Seems like everything's taking place on Kickstarter the last month or so. But I was able to find a collection of interesting miniatures, so we'll take a look at those and let's do that now. First up is a set of quote-unquote bikers from Studio Miniatures. If anybody watches TV out there, you will recognize these as mock-ups of the Sons of Anarchy TV series, which is actually a pretty great series. So you obviously got Jack and his gang, and then you've got I think the Hispanic gang. So they will probably do some more. But I think these are pretty cool, pretty interesting sculpts. Not exactly sure what ruse you would use with them. Probably you'd want to use some kind of pulp ruse. Or, I don't know, you might even use like Spectre Op ruse. Next up, Gang Fight Gangs is finishing up their Blackwater Gulch Kickstarter. And they've shown this model of Brooke Summers from Tranquility. Which I think is actually an episode of Firefly. So definitely like the model. If you want to see, I guess, how you get it, you go check out their I think it's called the Blackwater Gulch Kickstarter. This model is called the Blue Coat Admiral of the Second Government by Durgan Paint Forge. Apparently they've got some new game or range coming out, and this is going to be one of their miniatures, but you can check them out on Facebook to see some more characters in the range. Now I know Warlord Games has their samurai game called Test of Honor, but I've always preferred the miniatures from Kinsei, and they have a couple of new miniatures out this month. One of them is called the Slinking Spy, or Espia, and the other one is called the Undead Kuroite. So definitely you could proxy them into any of your games of Test of Honor. And on the other hand, if you prefer more diorama quality samurai, this set is shows some work in progress from a company called War Banner. Moving on to something that I don't really do a lot of, but if you are into Conflict 47 by Warlord Games, they are showing off some new Soviet shifters, which are pretty much some werebears. Reaper is showing this, it almost looks like a diorama called Stitch Thimble Toe. So, looks like a halfling thief. Footsore Miniatures is coming out with some more miniatures to support the Saga range. This is a Viking Berserker, followed by another Viking Berserker. And then they have this Night Hospitaller, which is going to be released or available around the same time as the second edition Saga supplement called Age of Crusades. It's been pretty quiet with Warlord Games and boat action, but they do have some new plastic Germans, Grenadiers, and winter gear, which is kind of funny because they did their winter stuff probably a year ago, which is probably when they should have brought this out, but maybe they're just trying to finish off that range. I heard they're going to be going into Africa Corps soon, so that should be exciting. Games Workshop is kind of finishing up the bastardization of their Warhammer Fantasy range by bringing out some elves, which they are calling Deepkin. So these are supposedly some type of sea elves, and I believe this is all in the Age of Sigmar world, so just some pretty crazy looking stuff. Obviously good models, but you don't play Games Workshop, there's probably not a lot else you're going to use them for other than some nice displays. Now I will say this, probably a year ago in one of my solo Wargaming show news, I indicated that a lot of the miniature companies were getting licensed products, and one of the ones that was going to have to get one in order to compete was Mantic Games. And so what we are seeing here is Mantic Games' introduction into the licensed hobby field with the Hellboy properties. I know the game is still being worked on, which is kind of typical for Mantic. They will put out miniatures and not have a very good game to back it up. And I've learned this from watching Blackjack Legacy's website, where they've kind of talked about they're still changing stuff with the game. The Hellboy miniature here looks great. Great paint job. I am a little concerned that maybe it's kind of a one chunk model, but it does look like it can come off of that base or whatever, which I don't know why they would make that if it's not going to stay on there. But I'm not really big into Hellboy. My oldest son is kind of more knowledgeable about the Hellboy property than I am. But I think we'll all be keeping an eye on this, especially coming from Mantic Games. So stay tuned. Speaking of licensed properties, River Horse Games is in the last week of their Kickstarter for Pacific Rim. It may be finished by the time I air this, but this is called the Crimson Typhoon, which looks like a pretty cool Jaeger. I'm not getting in on this Kickstarter. I mean, I went to see the movie, but I'm not really much into the lore of Pacific Rim. Although I wouldn't mind picking these up, second hand, and I don't know, maybe displaying. Cromlech is showing off this cool work in progress of an orc wagon. Now, anybody that knows World War II knows this is modeled off of the German SD KFZ. So I always like anything that's modeled off of a historical, an actual historical vehicle. So I don't have any more information on this yet, but it's pretty cool. If you go to Cromlech's site, I'm sure you can see what's going on with that. Now, the only reason I'm showing you this is a figure by a company called Artel called a Witch Hunter. And obviously it's a 3D render. Is so I can show you this. Yes, Solomon Kane by Mythic Games. So we are starting to get more information on Solomon Kane, at least on Board Game Geek. I was able to find some pictures of some of the miniatures. I'm very excited about this game. And as far as I know, it is not going to use the Conan mechanic, so that's pretty cool. I think they've done enough with that, with the jewels and the energy tokens and stuff. So hopefully this will go back to just some good old school, rolling some dice and things. But I am liking what I see, and this is kind of the one I'm saving a little money for as far as Kickstarters. Now, another release I've been following is Lucid Eyes, the Red Book of the Elf King, which is coming, I guess, this year, like in May. So they have more miniatures being released. These are called the Companion Set. That is followed by this set of Trolls. That's followed by these guys called the Erdane Mortals. And I think we got another set of Trolls, or probably just two of the same ones we've already seen. So this is going to be a well-supported line. By the time the book comes out, I mean, there will be enough miniatures if you want to do this. And I think I've said before, I do like the way they do the elves in this. Kind of a imperial kind of air or style to them. But I will get you guys more information on that as it comes in. Classcraft Games is showing off some more of their colored tiles or terrain tiles. This is for the Kensai range, which, I mean, obviously you can use this in Test of Honor as well. And from what I understand about this, basically this is a colored plastic, almost, I wouldn't say PVC, I'm trying to think of the word to think of it, but it's basically a sheet of plastic, and you pop these out and they slot together. But I think this is an excellent range for the Kensai or the Test of Honor. So, and they have like the dock pieces, the building pieces, and then even some little launch boats. Shiokuri Buni is, I think, what this one is called. So definitely check them out. These are, I think this one, I don't know if this one is available or coming, but the last one here, the Sanmon hut or building, is available. Marissa Precision and Footsore Miniatures are showing off some more terrain for their excellent games of Rome range. I mean, this is really exciting me. Now, this is called a Ruined Temple, and what's cool about it is it comes free in their starter called Blood on the Aventine. So you get a basic, 2 basic crews. You get the Ruined Temple. You get the rule book, some tokens. So I haven't got a price on this yet, but man, this is definitely going on my wish list. It's just kind of a nice one-off type of game, and that Ruined Temple could be used in a whole lot of things. Sticking with terrain, Wild West Exodus is showing up some more terrain for their, well, I guess it's for Wild West Exodus. This is called the Red Oak set, and they have I guess the boxes and crates, and then they have a distillery, and the last thing is a prospector's shack. So, I mean, if you do Wild West Exodus, it's pretty cool, and I mean, obviously it would work in any other Western campaign. I'm not sure about that blue tint. Well, that's the only thing I think that would distract me from trying to use it in just some general Western game. The thing I have in board game is this game called Starship Samurai, which is actually going to be some type of resource management game by Plaid Hat. You do get kind of these kaiju looking figures or Jaegers, so I thought it would be kind of cool, since I had done the Pacific Rim thing, to let you take a look at this. But it does says it's kind of an area control resource management, so I don't think there's going to be like combat per se between the Jaegers or the kaiju. And our second to last item is kind of unique. Apparently the guys at Mythic Battles have teamed up with a comic book firm to release a comic book based on their Joan of Arc Time of Legends game. So I guess the unique thing about this is that the book is going to be written and illustrated by an all-female team. So that's pretty cool, and I guess appropriate for Joan of Arc. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really do comics that much anymore, but I definitely would, go through a couple issues, especially if I get the game. And the last item on today's agenda is a selfless plug for my game Journey to the Overland. We are in the last few weeks of our Kickstarter, and we've just introduced some 3D scenery. This is mostly 20mm, 15mm, a collection of buildings. Even if you're not into the game, which these are designed to be put on the map in lieu of kind of the locations you visit, they would also work pretty good with games like Gloomhaven, or even your board game Mage Knight, the board game, if you just want to add some 3D buildings to some of those games instead of the stickers or the tokens. But if you get a chance, check us out on Kickstarter, Journey to the Overland Redux. And that's about all I have for you guys, folks. So I don't know, probably be another month before I do another one of these. So take care, keep in touch, and God bless.